In the name of God, amen. Beginning tonight, we follow the story of Jesus' final days in Jerusalem and his destiny, our destiny, with the cross. The story of these 3 days, which we call the Triduum, begins in the upper room with Jesus breaking bread with his disciples, and it moves into Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and ultimately into Easter Sunday. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. The importance of the movement of these 3 days, what it meant for Jesus, the disciples, and what it means for us, cannot be understated and should not be rushed. Each day and night offers opportunities for reflection and rich spiritual deepening, and we would do well to savor these moments and glean all we can from them. These moments that call us to remember who we are and who we are called to be as Christians. The readings for this Maundy Thursday night are steeped in tradition, history, and symbolism. They are tied to the institution of the very first Passover meal found in the book of Exodus. They offer us a living parable of what it looks like in humble service to love one another, and they offer us a sounding of who we are as Christians, or at least who we should be. Imagine for a moment what it was like that night. Jesus is with his friends gathered around the table. There is talk of the real nature of love. A sense of Passover expectation is in the air. Thousands of people have traveled long distances converging on Jerusalem. And Jesus is in the upper room with his closest friends. And even though betrayal rushes out the door to do his bidding, a sense of peace and quiet stillness pervades the atmosphere, and surely there's a feeling of sacredness in the room. This night invites us all to come and sit at the table with Jesus and his friends. Imagine for a moment that you are there, with his loving eyes glancing over each face. Let his eyes meet yours for a moment. What must he be thinking? For the last 3 years, he's been teaching and guiding us to this moment. Maybe he was thinking that the only thing left to do was to demonstrate for us in a very personal and intimate way all that he had been teaching along the way. Maybe he was thinking that this time he wouldn't just tell us a parable, but that he would become a living parable with us, and intimate and up close. So as the gospel narrative tells us, he gets up, he ties a towel around himself, then he pours water into a basin and simply and lovingly begins to wash your feet. He is the living parable of love and service through humility in motion. The warm wetness of the water on your skin, the gentle touch of love in response to the shy offering of these intimate parts of ourselves, our feet. The caring way he softly dries our feet. All are the quiet language of the living parable of love and service through humility and motion. We feel cleansed and loved in a way like never before. We now know something about ourselves and about God in a mysterious way that we can't quite explain. Parables are like that. And then he asked a question. Do you know what I have done for you? you kind of get the feeling that he knows the answer. There's a sense that he knows that we will never understand the full import of this living parable of love through humility until we do the same for others. So that is exactly what he tells us to do, to follow his example and to do as he has done. That is one reason why this night is so important. We get some clear instruction about how to actually live as Jesus actually lived. Tonight, each of us have the opportunity to be a real live parable, a living parable. And when we come forward tonight for the washing of our collective feet, it's not just practice. We are the real living parable of love and service through humility in action and in motion. We get to show this incredible love to one another here in our base community first. We get to feel what Jesus knew, that loving our souls through washing our feet, we learn a truth about ourselves, about our neighbor, about God, and about love that never be told except through this living parable. That is what we're invited to here tonight. We're invited to be a living parable of love and service through humility and motion with one another, right here in this holy place, in this holy moment. We, God's holy people. Jesus was clear about something else tonight, that we are to love one another. As plain and simple and as profound as that. Just as he has loved us, so are we to love one another. He tells us tonight that people will know us by our love for one another. And I'm pretty sure that when he said one another, he meant the entire world. Thomas Merton once said this: "Love is my true identity. Selflessness is my true self. Love is my true character. Love is my name." So tonight we get to experience this incredible love that has been modeled for us by Jesus, by demonstrating and sharing that love with each other, one washed foot at a time, right here in our base camp community. And then we get to go out and do the same for the world. And as we do, let's all remember that each and every one of us is a living parable of love and service through humility in motion.